Welcome everyone. Pull up a chair. Today is the day I out myself as a Gleek. No, I actually didn't go as far as being a Gleek. I started watching Glee when the hype for it was long gone. I think I watched it for the first time in maybe 2019, and the only song I'd ever heard from it before then was the Someone Like You mashup, which I didn't even know was from Glee. But in 2020, with the pandemic and lockdown and all of that, I really did get hooked on Glee. I practically drove my roommate insane with how much I rewatched season 2 and 3. And the songs were just on constant repeat, particularly Hate on Me from season 1 and The Rain in Spain Stays Mainly in the Plane. I think he's got it. I think he's got it. That one is just one that I just used to break out singing at random times because I personally think it's hilarious. Anyway, the point is, I never really fell in love with Glee, the show. I fell in love with the music, Santana Lopez, and Sue Sylvester. And those things kept me going when the series got really difficult to watch in seasons 5 and 6. Now, I've toyed with the idea of doing season breakdowns of Glee, but I cannot bring myself to rewatch seasons 4 and 6. 4 to 6. It's just like genuine agony for me. But I suspect that after a few years have passed, I'll have forgotten just how bad they are, and I'll be able to make those videos. However, that's not to say that I have nothing to say about Glee now. As I mentioned, the music is what I was in it for anyway, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I set myself a very difficult task, the difficulty of which was not revealed until I was already too far down the road to turn back. This video was initially supposed to be my top 10 favorite Glee performances overall. I was going to listen to every song, every single song in Glee from season 1 to 6, rate them, and then pick out 10 songs that I think are the best. Then I was going to watch the performances of those 10, rank them in order of preference, and then I would have my list. An impossible task, I realized, as soon as I'd finished the first season's 100 plus songs. So, after seeking advice from the wisest people in my life, I decided to break it down per season. Hence, this video is now my top 10 favorite performances from season 1. That means that there will be 6 more videos in this series, the 6th being my top 10 overall, which I still believe I can do. I think it'll just be easier once I've ranked the top 10 from each season. Anyway, how is this gonna work? Well, I have listened to every single song in the season 1 catalog on Spotify and given them a rating of either 1, honorable mentions, which are not my favorite but I have to recognize them, 2, I hate them with every fiber of my being, 3, forgettable and bad, 4, forgettable but good, which is just basically like meh, like good vocals but nothing else really going for it, 5, very good, 6, a freaking banger, and lastly, I like it, but that might be a hot take. Now, obviously, for this top 10 ranking, only the songs with a banger rating will be considered. For season 1, I had 11 songs with that rating. After that, I watched the performances for each of those songs and judged them based on the following criteria. 1, vocals, of course. 2, stage presence, which means dancing whenever that's relevant, or somehow managing to captivate me with the performance, even if they're just standing on stage. And the last criteria, the story behind the song. Some songs in Glee may not be the best vocal performances, but they carry so much weight because of the relevance of the song to the characters, the emotions behind it, and all of that. Now, each criteria is rated out of 10, so a song's position on this list is a result of their score out of 30. Is this as complicated as my High School Musical ranking? It might be, because if songs have the same score, we will face the same issue. However, I think it's fine, because if I say that 2 songs tied for 5th place, that doesn't change the fact that there are only 10 songs overall on this list. Whether you think the next song is 6th place or 7th doesn't matter. At the end, I'll throw in some honorable mentions and the one song that I consider a banger but didn't make it into the top 10. Okay, everything makes sense? Right, let's get into it. Here are my top 10 favorite songs from the first season of Glee. At number 10, we have Somebody to Love. I really went back and forth on classifying this one as a banger, but ultimately I decided that This Note by Mercedes cannot be relegated to an honorable mention. The song is enjoyable as is, but that elevates it to one of the best performances. I think they even performed it live on like America's Got Talent or something. So, I mean, what more do I need to say? Rachel and Finn also do a really good job of leading the song. I think these kind of songs are just right in Finn's wheelhouse. They were struggling with the choreography in season 1. The hand raising and the characters circling each other back and forth, it just gets really old really quickly for me. But it's the beginning, so I won't judge it too harshly. It's cute. Like, look how cute they are in their outfits. The girls in particular all look so small, which is amusing for me, but it's bang on because they're supposed to be teenagers, so it works. I believe this comes after the Kristen Chenoweth drama, like Rachel's being a diva and quits the Glee Club, I think. So she's replaced by Kristen's character, whose name I have forgotten at the moment. But then Emma convinced Will that having a grown woman who is an alcoholic as well, I think, in the Glee Club isn't a good idea. And he gets Rachel's comeback. So this is their performance as a unified group again. Honestly, I kind of like seeing Rachel be humbled. Being forced to see that her team can go on without her and that she needs to appreciate them more was nice. But on the whole, the story behind this one, it doesn't really stick out to me. At number 9, we have Bust Your Windows. Here we go again with Mercedes. It's okay. Knowing it's Mercedes performing should be enough to know that the vocals are gonna be stellar. The choreography for this one is so on point. I love watching Britney dance. And here, it's not the mediocre attempts of the New Directions, it's actual dancing. It fits the song perfectly, with even Mercedes doing a few moves. Like, the whole thing just feels like a music video. I love it. The story though, top tier clownery. Absolute ridiculousness. Mercedes having a crush on Kurt is in itself laughable. But then the fact that she picks up a stone and throws it through his window because she thinks he has a crush on Rachel is even more ridiculous. Mercedes is just not this unhinged. Season 1 was really something else, and this is the proof. Mercedes is for the most part one of the more level-headed characters in the show. Santana, Rachel, Kurt, super dramatic. Brittany is a caricature. Finn borders on being a caricature sometimes as well when they play up his dumbness. So Mercedes and Mike are on the whole the sanest characters. Her overreacting like this is so funny, but it's not a great story to back this amazing performance. At number 8, we have Another One Bites the Dust. Jesse St. James, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't think his vocals here are amazing, I simply cannot help you. Now, in terms of the entire performance, I think the group could have added some more supportive vocals. Like, I kind of prefer Mercy to this one, but this one is still great. The dancing is better than anything New Directions ever do. Also, once again, I prefer the choreography from Mercy, but that says more about how good Mercy is rather than saying this one is bad or anything. I guess this feels more like a performance that actual high school kids could give. The whole Jessie and Rachel thing was actually really goofy for me. Like, I don't think there was a point I ever believed he was actually going to stay to perform with New Directions at regional. So I wasn't shocked that he transferred back, but I did kind of feel bad for Rachel. She's obnoxious and annoying and entitled, but she's also been an outcast for her entire high school experience. Having someone like Jessie be interested in her is a big deal. So I did actually feel really bad for her when I found out she was just being played the entire time. That said, this performance has nothing to do with those feelings of betrayal, except maybe just the undertones of Jessie being so callous to actually come here and rub it in their faces. The big thing you're supposed to take away from this is that the New Directions are screwed. At number 7, a personal favorite of mine, The Boy Is Mine. This was the beginning of a beautiful pairing, and we didn't even know it yet. Santana and Mercedes, they just create magic together. Their voices go so well together. Like, they blend beautifully. There's no time they will perform together and it will not end up on my top 10 list. I don't care what season it is. I can guarantee you that. Even in a song like this, which doesn't offer much room for belting or doing anything really impressive vocally, they still manage to impress. Like, Santana's runs, oh, she's woefully underused in season 1. Stage presence, freaking 10 out of 10, man. No debate. This whole performance is so fun, precisely because of how both actresses commit to the bit. Like, the animosity, the aggression with which they get all up in each other's faces, the acting, scoffing when the other person is singing, rolling their eyes. 10 out of 10, for real. I probably shouldn't add this, but I can't resist. The way they start fighting when the song ends is one of my favorite scenes. Like, seriously, how can people not like Santana? She's so funny with the way she's always trying to fight people. I also like the fact that Mercedes she's just ready to go. She's like, yeah, step to it. Let's go, baby. Man, like, both of these girls are icons. The story here is that Park, having shaved his mohawk, has lost his reputation somehow. He's less intimidating or something. I can't remember the dumb explanation, but because of this, Santana breaks up with him. Honestly, I never understood what was going on with those two. Basically, she tells him she can't stand him anymore and stops fooling around with him. So Park realizes he needs a girlfriend with some social clout to save him. So he goes to Mercedes, who just recently joined the Cheerios, right? And they start dating. This makes Santana jealous, so cue the song. It's so silly. Like, fighting over Park is a joke. But as I said, the actresses commit fully to the song. Mercedes doesn't even care that much about Puck, but it's just like she can't stand Santana's audacity. Like, she just refuses to be bullied. The next two actually have the same score, so they're technically tied for 5th place. Let's just start with Hate on Me. Once again, Mercedes. Damn! Honestly, let's just leave it at that. It's Mercedes. I do, however, wish that they'd amplified the background vocals a bit more. I obviously want to hear more of Santana, but more than that, I want to hear the harmonies. Just make everyone else's voices a bit louder. The song doesn't suffer or anything, it just needs that extra push to get to a 10. I like to see characters having fun. Whether the choreography is amazing or not, I just like seeing them actually enjoy themselves. Kurt being so goofy and Mercedes laughing at him, Tina and Santana just vibing, Mike and Matt letting loose and just freestyling. It's so fun to watch. This whole minorities plotline was crazy. I didn't get offended by it or anything because, I mean, if you take anything in Glee seriously, you're playing yourself. But it really was ridiculous. Sue comes into the Glee club and just takes out all the minority races, and Artie because he's in a wheelchair, and Kurt because he's gay, and puts them in a group together talking about how she's gonna let them shine the way Mr. Shu never does. It's so dumb, but I do like the plots where Mr. Shu is being called out. Sue is an insane woman, but she does run a successful cheerleading squad, so she knows how to win. And a big part of that is recognizing your talented students and utilizing them however you can. We see that in season 3 when she finally commits to actually helping the Glee club. So here it was just nice to see her prove to Mr. Shu that he was being an idiot, ignoring so many talented kids in the group in favor of Rachel and Finn. It didn't stick. In fact, it flew over his head completely because the lesson he comes away with is that they're all minorities. I can't even get the line out. They're all minorities because they're in the Glee club. But in this moment, when they're singing, it was nice to see the others like Mike and Tina and Matt get a chance to shine. Still at number 5, we have Mercy. I considered doing this as an honorable mention because it's so short, and I kind of convinced myself that I love it so much because of my love for the original song. So I thought maybe I should save a spot for another song and take this one off. But then I was like, no, this is my list. I can put whatever I want on it. So yeah, I love this song. The vocals are perfect. I mean, I have no notes at all. There's no lead singer like Jessie usually is, and maybe they could have benefited from having one, but it's a solid group performance. Then they just obliterated this choreography. Vocal Adrenaline have undeniably amazing choreography every time they appear, and I think it's very impressive. Like, they are the same age as our main characters, and yet only Mike and Brittany could ever do this kind of intense choreography. We have to give them the respect they deserve. These kids are talented. Okay, so the story here is pretty weak. The New Directions want to sub Mr. Shu for a real choreographer, which honestly isn't a bad idea at all, because until season 3, their dancing is woefully insufficient. But that's basically it. They want a new choreographer, and we get to see Vocal Adrenaline perform as a kind of, like, this is what the New Directions should be doing. Not so deep compared to the other songs on the list. At number 4, we have You Can't Always Get What You Want. What's not to like about the vocals here? You have genuinely beautifully arranged harmonies, Finn and Rachel leading, and Mercedes and Artie adding these crucial ad-libs that elevate all their performances from good to great. I love this performance. It makes me happy, like in my heart. From the second it starts, the characters just look so thrilled. Like, all of them are smiling so big. They're so cute. Look at Mike. The dancing isn't anything to write home about. It follows the same general formula as Somebody to Love. Hand raising and characters just circling each other, but it's really hard to care when the characters are so clearly having so much fun. As far as I can remember, the story here is that the New Directions have just had their set list leaked by Sue. So the other groups have sung their songs and they have nothing to perform. Finn comes in at the last second with a song they can perform together, and Brittany, Mike, Santana, and Matt have to come up with some choppy choreography, and they basically just hope to dazzle the judges with their can-do attitude and pure charm. Finn has a pretty good reason to be upset, considering he was led to believe that his girlfriend was carrying his baby when in fact she cheated on him with his best friend, and on top of that, everyone knew except him. So I mean, it's genuinely a huge character moment that he comes back and helps them. It's also nice to see him enjoying himself through the performance. He's not sulking or anything, and performing actually makes him happy. It's a great way to show how the Glee Club brings them all together, despite whatever personal stuff is going on. They all care about the group as a whole. So this performance is a testament to what they can do when they all work together. At number 3, Don't Rain on My Parade. Of course, the vocals on this are incredible. She absolutely kills this performance. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whether you like Rachel or not, you cannot deny her voice and her skill. She's considered the best in the group for a reason, despite her personality. I love the beginning when she's among the crowd. She's playful and she moves around a lot and she works the crowd really well. The performance goes down a bit, just a little bit, once she's on stage, I think. Once again, it's just a lot of like raising and dropping hands, which it's the theme with the new directions. But I still think she manages to command the stage really well. She's alone up there for a long time, but she uses the space really well, I think. This is the same story as You Can't Always Get What You Want, because it's just the same performance. Mercedes, who was supposed to do the solo, says she can't do it anymore because she hasn't prepared anything else. Remember, their original songs were performed by the other groups. So Rachel comes in with the clutch. What I like about this plot point is that it's another thing about Rachel that makes her the best performer in season 1, in my opinion. Like, yes, Mercedes has an amazing voice that rivals or could be argued as better than Rachel's, but Rachel is a better performer than her. She's always honing her craft, always practicing, always ready to be called on at any moment. I mean, she's in dance classes as well, you know, and this plot point serves as kind of a reminder of that like, yeah, Rachel is annoying as hell, but she's good at what she does. Number 2, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. Oof, 100 out of 10. Are you kidding me? Amber Riley shows up a lot on this list because her voice, her technique is just impeccable. She is outstanding. And the difficulty of this particular song makes this even more impressive. She performs this song with her whole body, which makes the performance feel all the more powerful. She's digging deep in this performance, giving it her all, and it shows. The way she points at the other students, her facial expressions, everything she does draws you in. I mean, she's gasping for air once she's done. She needs to lean on the piano for support. That's how much she gave to this performance. This is also a big moment for Mercedes. It's her proving that she's as good as Rachel, fighting for the respect and the recognition she deserves, which is honestly very quickly forgotten as the story goes on. I feel like I should add that. It felt amazing watching her kill this and just stick it to Rachel. Like, yes, Mercedes, show them, girl. The song is so perfect for the moment too, because it's exactly what she's telling Mr. Shu and Rachel and just everybody. She's not gonna sit back and let them shove her to the side, ignoring her talent. She's standing up for herself in an undeniably phenomenal performance. And the whole group is cheering her on. Even Rachel cannot deny that she killed it and deserved the solo. And my top 10 of season 1 is Beautiful. This one shocks me. I wasn't expecting this to be my top 1, but gosh, man. It's gonna sound repetitive, but Mercedes' voice is amazing. Yes, she can do the impossible high notes and she can belt like crazy, but she also has this ability to convey so much emotion through her voice. It's more than just hitting high notes. She makes you feel what she's feeling as she sings. I love her so much. Damn. It's an understated performance to give the spotlight to the message. There's no fanfare, no dancing, just some light swaying. It's Mercedes alone, and then Quinn joins her, and then Santana and Britney, and slowly the rest move towards her. It's powerful stuff, man. Like, showing that the characters support her, standing by her, standing up to Sue. I love this performance, if you can't tell. This might also be the best story of any of the songs on the list. Mercedes and Kurt join the cheerleading squad so that they can have a place to shine, since Rachel dominates the Glee club and they're tired of having to fight Mr. Shu. But then Sue starts telling Mercedes that she needs to lose weight if she's going to be a cheerleader. So Mercedes tries to do so, going so far as starving herself so she can reach that weight goal that Sue has set for her. Eventually, she faints, and Quinn gives her this talk about how unhealthy that mindset is, which she knows from personal experience because she was a cheerleader before and has starved herself as well. It's a really touching moment between them, and Quinn tells Mercedes she's lucky because she feels so at home in her body and she shouldn't let Sue take that away from her. And Mercedes cries and tells her she's so embarrassed and she doesn't know how she became this person. And Quinn tells her she's beautiful. It's so touching, and this performance is the result. It's Glee at its best. The other song that I considered to be a banger but didn't make it into the top 10 was Bohemian Rhapsody. So let's talk about it a little. Jesse St. James with just a flawless performance. I love the growls that he does in this song, like intentionally making his voice gravelly in certain parts. His control and his skill are just crazy, and he absolutely kills this song. I don't think there's any debate about that. Now, as for the performance, look, if it wasn't interspliced with scenes of Quinn giving birth, I might give it more praise. As it is, the whole thing feels so comical. I'm actually not sure if I should judge Quinn's scenes as part of the performance, but if you're gonna watch the scene, you're gonna have to watch these parts as well. I mean, she even says, "Let me go." And she has moments where she's like, "No, no, no, no." And then there are parts as well where she does the whole "Mama," like she's screaming for her mom. She's like, "Mama." So, I mean, I'm counting it. This is honestly Glee in a nutshell. Incredibly unserious with undeniable masterpieces woven into it. The dancing also isn't that great. Like, the actual stuff going on stage, it's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's still impressive given that it's a high school performance. Better than New Directions for sure, but I think this is just a hard song to dance to, you know? So I'll give it half. Half the performance is a cringy joke, and the other half is a pretty good effort by Vocal Adrenaline. What can I even say is the story for this song? Beth's birth? I mean, if so, it should be a pretty big deal, but it's so unserious that I'm not sure how to score it. It's also Vocal Adrenaline's like regional performance. Do I think it's worthy of a regional performance win? Yes, but I don't know where this leaves us, like scoring wise. I think I'll err on the side of a lower score because I don't want to give undeserved points. Just because I know the significance of this moment for Puck and Quinn doesn't mean the scene portrays the significance of it. Honorable mentions. For these, I'm not even gonna give a score because they don't need to factor anywhere on this list, but I will still talk about each category. First up, we have Don't Stop Believing. They sing this song twice in one season. They might even sing it once every season. It's a Glee anthem, and that's why I had to mention it honorably. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think that's because I've just heard it way too many times. I don't think it's a bad song or a bad performance by any means, but it will never feature in my Glee playlist. So the first performance is in the pilot with just the OG Glee members, Mercedes, Tina, Rachel, Finn, Kurt, and Artie. The voices sound good. Obviously, very Rachel and Finn heavy, but that's fine. It's the pilot and they carry the song well. It's kind of funny that these background vocals are supposed to be just Mercedes, Tina, Artie, and Kurt, and yet it sounds exactly the same when they do the song later at regionals with everyone else. You can't hear any distinction between their voices, which with so few people you definitely would hear Mercedes and Artie, but whatever. It's the moment they finally come together as the Glee Club. It's the moment that convinces Mr. Shu to stay on as their director. It's the start of something new. The second time they perform it, it's obviously better. You have Puck and Santana getting their verse, and I actually really like Puck's voice and how it mixes with Santana's. I don't think they get a lot of chances to sing together. Mercedes adding the salt and pepper seasoning, which is always appreciated. All in all, a great way to end their performance. It's nice to tie the story off with the song that started it all. After everything they've been through as a group, all the drama, betrayals, etc., the song is what brought them together in the first place. Plus, the message of the song, the whole "don't stop believing," is why they even made it to regionals at all. The choreography is a joke. Like, there are moments when they actually just stand in a group and clap, which is so funny, but it's the anthem, so, it has to be here. Rose's turn. Kurt shines the most in these kind of solo performances, I think. The emotionally charged ones where he's just using the song to express how he's feeling. That's where he becomes a performer, in my opinion. Most of the time when he's arguing with Rachel about solos and so on, I never really feel like he deserves them, because I don't think he can actually lead a group performance on his own. I think his voice gets swallowed by everyone else's, and I don't feel like he commands the stage, except in these solo performances. I've never just sat and listened to this song. I forgot it completely until it came on, but then when it did, I was like, man, Kurt can sing. I have to put it as an honorable mention because, again, this isn't my kind of music, but I can recognize that it's a great performance. I honestly cannot remember the story behind this. I think it's something to do with Kurt trying to connect to his dad. Like, I think for a while he was trying to be more rugged, like more of a man's man kind of thing, into sports and stuff like that, which is what he thinks his dad wants in a son. Then it doesn't work, or I think his dad is bonding with Finn, and of course, that hurts Kurt. Man, I can't remember, but he was hurt about something to do with his dad and not feeling accepted, and so this is the song he sings to kind of break free of the box, which honestly, he'd put himself in it because his dad is pretty anyway. He breaks free of the box and of trying to be what his dad wants, or changing himself for other people, and he's just embracing himself and who he is and saying how this is his time to shine. Like I said, Kurt excels at emotionally charged performances. You can feel his passion, his irritation, his sadness in the beginning. It definitely deserves to be here. So there we have it. Those are my top 10 favorite songs in the first season of Glee. I actually had a lot of fun going back and listening to these songs, many as they were. Like I said, I was much more obsessed with season 2 and 3. So listening to season 1, I got to hear a bunch of songs that I'd completely forgotten about, or that I'd never even actually listened to all the way through. I think I'll do another short video at some point in the future talking about the songs I love that I think most people don't, that if I was to be unreasonable, I would even have put in this top 10 list instead of some of the ones that are here. I think I'll also do another video talking about the songs that I hate with every fiber of my being. Look, there are over 100 songs in each season of Glee, so you guys better believe that I will be getting as many videos as I can out of this entire process. I'm not gonna listen to all those songs just to make 7 videos. If that's something that you're into, definitely subscribe so you can be notified when the next videos in this series come out. What I'm super curious about is how people are going to react to this list. I know I have an interesting taste in music, sometimes controversial, and given that season 1 was so Broadway musical songs heavy, I think there might be some people who think I should have more of those songs on this list. Tell me about it in the comments. Which songs are your favorite? From season 1 only season 1 songs. And who do you think is a better performer? Tina or Finn? Like, not Finn and Rachel, just Tina on her own and Finn on his own. Who do you think is better? Otherwise, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta!